Okay, cool. Okay. Thanks, folks. Have a great meeting.
Okay. Bye.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye. Let's see, who do we have here? I better put my name in there. Who's passcode 5199944?
You got me. I didn't know I had a passcode.
I think that's you.
I'm right. Oh, you know
I don't
what?
see
Why
your
is that
name.
coming up? I've changed my name. I've renamed.
To passcode 519.
I have renamed. No, I've renamed Sandy Van because I've been in meetings all day yesterday. And put in Jeffco and everything. And why does it keep doing that?
Are you using a tablet?
No, I'm using a laptop.
Okay, because
It looks like a private Zoom account. Doesn't look like a Zoom account.
I think that's just the, yeah, but I think that's just the passcode for this one if we look. But it's not a tablet, huh? Because I've seen
No.
sometimes where they remember things that you don't want remembered from the past.
Ah, but why don't they remember my name?
I know, good question.
I keep renaming.
What'd
You
you
know,
say, Pat?
I was in 2 meetings yesterday and I renamed both times because people like to know who they're calling on.
I said I'm going to say hello, 519.
Hey.
Rebecca
welcome,
is
Rebecca.
in Boston, I believe.
Pardon?
And Rebecca is in Boston, but she is here anyway.
She says she's
This
on a
is
train.
the crew that was here yesterday. Do we need to do this?
Well, let's wait and see if anybody else
Okay.
comes. We got to give it at least 5 minutes, right?
She said her sister had brain surgery or something.
Yes,
Pardon?
that's true.
Rebecca said that she was out east because her sister had brain surgery.
Oh. I hope everything went well.
That's pretty serious.
So Sandy and I have to go to another meeting at 5.
So, was anyone at the meeting yesterday at the library?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was signed up and I had a doctor's appointment. I came home and I spent half an hour trying to find the link. I finally found the link. I didn't spend, then I waited to be let in for, like 20 minutes. I found the link much sooner than I was let in because nobody was.
Well, the problem was that one of the computers failed. So we were doing both the slides and the management of Zoom on one computer, and it was like,
it was a
do you have a
disaster.
slide or do you have somebody let in?
It was a disaster because after I got in, it was all unless Rebecca Winning was speaking, there was one other person who must have been close to the microphone. Otherwise, it was just all garbled. It was a waste of time. And I could have made it, but I thought I was better off to just, join by Zoom than because I'm a half an hour away. I thought I'll just join by Zoom. I didn't get there any sooner, but I really didn't get anything out of it.
You're not the only one. But the people that were there got a lot out of it.
It sounded like,
it sounded like a lot of people on the hybrid part were able to hear fine. They had said.
Some of them did, yeah. But
I could not.
I think the majority didn't.
Oh, okay.
It was too many voices at once.
Well, there was that.
We were all very animated.
People
For
had a-
anybody who's not from Jefferson County, it was on the separation of church and state
Wow.
thing that's going on.
We're having ours,
It
uh,
was
this
it's
coming
very long
Tuesday.
though.
Yeah. Said it was animated. A lot of people had opinions. Yeah, I said we're having ours next week. I've read through that report twice and I'm animated. I mean, I think it's a fine objective. I think there's a lot of stuff that's been left out.
We're gonna
actually.
have a big target on our back too,
Yeah.
which really wasn't talked about yesterday, but I can see it will be a
Yeah.
good talking point for the people who don't like us in the first place.
I'd like a very quick rundown of some of the things you heard. And we have plenty of time to
There-
discuss.
Pat, she's gonna put everything, all of the slides on our website under resources. And the first part was there, but the slides and the PowerPoint thing wasn't. So you can go on the website and just look at everything. And that would probably give you more than as much as
Okay.
anything else.
Okay, but I would have enjoyed the
Yeah,
actual
you
discussion.
would have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Rebecca just
That's
put
right.
a
It's right up your alley, Pat.
Rebecca just put a chat. She wants to know about the church and state program in Jefferson County.
So we have to
Um,
tell her, but you told me about it's gonna be on the website.
Right.
Well-
I don't know if you can sign in to it if you're not a Jeffco
No,
member. I
you
don't
can't.
know about that.
Well, you can't sign into it if you're not a league member. I
Oh.
don't think. That was
Oh,
what they
you
told.
can't, but I don't know. I mean, I tried to sign up for something through Larimer County and I had a problem without going
Okay.
through the state. I had to sign in at the
Rebecca,
state and then go over.
Rebecca.
There's
Yeah,
We'll,
that's
we'll see what we can
probably,
do.
well, I just had to do that to get to this meeting because I don't think I ever got a Zoom link for this meeting.
We got something today and we got something, I don't know what date I went. I
We've
always
gotten
say,
3 or 4 things this week.
Yeah.
Okay, well, because Douglas County is having 2 things this week, so we have a second one tonight at 6:30. So I was looking and I usually put those in a form file and I didn't have it, so.
Rebecca, I will send you information about our proposed position. It's not really, it's not solidified yet. We're just discussing position.
And I didn't like
it was
the
a
way
really
was
good
worded.
PowerPoint about different
Yeah,
ideas
but
that,
it was long. Our program was supposed to be an hour and it was an hour and a half and people were still, I think, really ready to talk. Nobody, I think 2 people dropped out during the
Yeah.
whole thing. And you have to be careful because at least in our group, 2 people kind of asked all the questions and monopolized the time. I was not real happy.
I didn't see
Sorry,
that with
Barb.
ours.
It's my pet peeve about a couple of people.
Ours
that
was
do
pretty
that.
open. Everybody talked.
Hmm.
It was a Zoom meeting?
So good luck, Ann.
no, it was a
No, it's
hybrid,
live,
Alice. We
Oh,
did
okay.
in
but it was
person
hybrid.
and then
You could
we
join
had,
How does that
what,
work?
25, 30 people there, probably more,
Wow.
Sandy?
I think it was 40. I think
40
I
people.
think,
in
I think they
person.
were counting chairs at the end. We forgot to count while people were there.
Was that the
And then-
religious program, the study that they're doing?
Yeah,
The-
our first
the
discussion about it, and then we'll
sure.
have a meeting on the 3rd or 4th of February.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have it probably another meeting too. We need to.
Well, it
Well, I
doesn't
have
look
an
like we're gonna
announcement
have
to
it.
make before you go on too far. I somehow or rather was dropped from our membership.
Oh.
Quite a few. Yeah, not Jeffco,
Oh,
but so I could get emails and announcements from mostly from Jeffco. If I was, I was a member for what, 60 years? No, only 55. Anyway, I went around and around for several months with Terry Urbanowski. And what we finally did this last week was I have a whole new email, I have a new password, I have everything. So now I think you have to, if you're sending me if you have sent me things to Ken Pat M,
Oh,
I'm still getting them, but my new address is on patricia.messick at AOL.
great. I've been
Yeah.
waiting for you to do that for years, Pat. Patricia.messick.
You've been waiting for me to do that. Why?
Because I don't think it's sort of like, the man has the email account and the woman hangs on. Patricia.messick, what?
At AOL.com.
At AOL. Great.
Okay, I'll change mine.
Right now I'm getting things on both, and it depends on if, like a lot of things, I'm just included on the list. And that hasn't been changed yet.
Okay,
Oh, it's gonna
Joe?
take a while to get it changed.
we're
It's gonna
12
take you
out.
a long time.
So now I'm sorry, but that was important to me.
Okay. No, I know. I'm glad.
Okay, so. Marianne. Have we talked to you in the past? Mariana, have you introduced yourself to everybody in the past? I know who you are, but
Just a minute, I'm trying to get it so I can be seen. I have a different, there we go, okay. I'm Mariana Dunn, and I'm with the Boulder League. And we have a climate action team, which has been sort of not very active. We've had a hiatus, you might say. So I wanted to join this meeting and see what's going on and see what how I can help stir up our membership.
okay. Well, one thing you can do is invite him to join this group.
Yes,
Mariana Dunn.
some have in the past been with this group, but I sure don't see anybody but me.
Right now, yeah, this is a disappointing thing because we're trying to plan our programs for next year or for the
Yes.
year,
Following year, yeah.
for this
Yes.
year.
I
Okay, Tony
have a
just joined.
thought. I have a thought. I think the third week of the month is just overloaded, at least on my calendar, with league meetings. I have 4 league meetings this week. And I mean, 2 of
Regular
us,
ones?
well, two of our group, because of the way the month is set up.
Calendar. Mhm.
And then I have 2 LWV Douglas County meetings, plus our league does a movie on I guess it's the second Monday of each month, but that happens to be this week as well.
Well, maybe
So
that's
it's-
something we can survey. and
Sometimes, I
see
don't
if
know if
that
other league,
needs to be changed.
a lot of them, the third week. I mean, I don't know if other leagues do things on the third week. It just seems to be busy.
Yep,
Did you
well, we
say-
can look
Then I
into
have-
that for sure.
Yeah, Marianne, did you say that Boulder has
Boulder has what?
a lot of stuff on the third week?
No,
Oh, okay.
our climate action team has met on 4th Saturday.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
When does
And
your
why
regular,
Saturday?
when
Why
are your
Saturday?
when are your regular league meetings? Not your committee meeting, but your Boulder League meeting.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay,
I should, but I don't.
we might be able to send out a couple of choices and see which one bites. We always have a board meeting the third week, so Jeffco has at least 2 there, so. This week has
Yeah.
just been crazy heavy.
Yes.
Between all the chapter spot things and whatever, I had 2 meetings, so. Okay,
Your day, right? Well, there's Tony.
I'm Rebecca.
Rebecca had to sign in again. I think she's on a moving train. She probably will be signing in and out.
Oh.
Okay.
Just
Well, we were
wondering
kind of,
what
do,
it was.
do we want to jump in here? Sandy, do you want to give us a little?
Yes, well, I don't think I need to explain to any of you what we're doing. You all know that we started before COVID, and since we've been on Zoom, we've been trying to expand, but when you look at today's meeting, it kind of makes you feel like we haven't gone anywhere. Got a lot of people on the mailing list, but people don't come to the regular meetings. Today we are looking at trying to set up some meetings for the future. And we have February taken care of, right?
Yes,
With what?
we are doing Arapahoe Douglas's program on February
petroleum-
19th at
Is
7
that the
o'clock.
That's petroleum 338.
Yeah.
You need
Yes.
to register through the state, I guess. So,
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, I'll send out a message about that.
we'll send that out, yeah.
and then March,
And then-
Maggie was doing something on March. For
Will
March.
we need to register for that?
Yes,
For the petroleum one, yes.
Yeah. And it
Well, I
is,
think you want the link.
At LWVCO, you can register, but we'll see if we can get a link also to everybody.
Yeah, if you just send them out that LWVCO link, that probably is the easiest way to do it.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
That way you don't have to wait for the Arapahoe County link to come in.
And what was March? We
Well,
already had
March,
something from-
first
I
of
don't
all,
know if we are absolute on the rest of the things. We just had some ideas. Is that right?
Right.
You want to go ahead and tell them what the ideas were?
I
can I
thought
stop a second? What is the day and time of the February meeting? Is it our time or is it?
No,
February
it's theirs.
19th,
It's February.
it's a
9th.
Wednesday
When,
at 7 PM.
Thank you. I was just a little bit of slow getting a writing instrument.
Barb, can you tell me who that person is again? I don't have it written down.
Justin Noble, the author of Petroleum 238. I'll put some information in the chat just so you all have it,
Okay.
including the
thank
link to register.
Okay, so we looked at carbon credits and talking to Diane DeGette about carbon credits and somebody else as a possibility. Looking at,
we're on the carbon credits, carbon pricing, we're looking for anybody who might have a contact with the CCL group. If anybody has a friend or somebody in their league that's affiliated with CCL, because they supposedly they have on their on their national website that they have a speakers bureau, but I haven't been able to get a response from my emails. So I'm waiting on
I was
that.
going to send you an email address, wasn't I?
Yeah. So that's something that has come up in previous meetings. And so I personally would like to know more about it. And maybe if the rest of the group also finds it worthwhile, we'll pursue that. But I don't have a date, with just whenever we can get a speaker.
What does CCL stand for?
CCL stands for Citizens Climate Lobby.
Okay.
It's a national organization, and there's many, many, many chapters in Colorado, but they don't put their contact information on the website.
That's helpful.
You have to send them an email, which I have done, and haven't gotten a rapid response.
Maybe they're taking a vacation also.
Yeah. Well, I did sign up for the newsletter, for the Colorado group newsletter, and got a copy of that yesterday, and it's actually pretty good. It's really, maybe it was actually Tuesday, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in their newsletter. So if you go on, look up CCL of Colorado and subscribe to their newsletter. If your email inbox isn't already totally collapsing from weight. It seemed like a worthwhile document. The other thing we were going to look at, and Maggie said she would do this, is try to get some update information and maybe a good speaker about wildfire mitigation, which is top of mind for everybody, I think, right now. Hi, Maggie.
You're muted, Maggie. Maggie, you're muted. Oh, okay.
So those are two possibilities for the future, and dependent on when we get speakers and whatever. Are there other ideas that people would like to?
Okay. Yeah, I'm giving some thought to who we might approach. There are basically 3 levels of wildfire management in Colorado, starting with the U.S. Forest Service that is responsible for the federal lands in the state, and the Colorado State Forest Service, which is a branch of CSU, which does a lot of research and also provides funding and education on wildfire mitigation. And then county sheriffs are wildfire management for their county. So they are also expected to be knowledgeable about mitigation. So that's where I am right now.
Okay, we were also talking about someone who might be able to talk about AI and the use of AI
And
in fire
yes, and I will
mitigation.
certainly approach that. I know that it's becoming useful to forest management.
I was very interested watching one of the reports on the California fires, that there was no federal involvement. There was no federal firefighters.
There isn't any federal land involved in that. I think probably the state and the local agencies are the ones responsible for fighting that. But they brought in people from other states, and there may be people, I don't know that there are not people from the U.S. Forest Service helping to fight that. But
There are
they are
people from
not
Canada
the
and Mexico.
agency in charge. Pardon?
There are people from Canada, and
Yeah.
also Mexico.
In Colorado.
Well, these are fighting the California fires.
Right,
Well,
Colorado.
was too. There are people going to Colorado, from Colorado going to California. In fact, they're already there, I think, at this point.
Right.
Yeah, and taking equipment and some air support, I think. So,
Is there anything else that people might be interested in finding out about? I mean, I kind of have the question, what's going to happen with the IRA? And
Yeah.
we might want to wait until the fall, and so we have an idea of what's happening and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I did read that of the last 76 billion that was allocated, 50 billion of it is going to blue states. So they think those are, that's safe.
I mean, red states.
Pardon? I'm sorry, to red
Mm.
states. Yes. So I don't know if at some point we can find out that information later on in the year and just see where everything's going.
Well, I think that's a good thing to look at, but right now we have no idea.
Right. No, I'm thinking, in the fall, in the
Yeah.
winter or something.
The
And even
EPA,
for the beginning of next year.
the EPA nominee has been, I was listening to it on CPR this morning, seems to be, he said he's available, he's interested in all types of, what did he say? He didn't say certain kinds of energy, any kind of energy that's working. It sounded like, he wasn't interested in new stuff.
Yes, sometimes people say things to get
Yeah,
Well, sure, but he didn't knock out renewables, and so.
I
And
think
he-
renewables are
He
in
also is the
enough
frack.
right now
He's
that
the guy from Colorado, I think. The fracking guy from Colorado.
Yeah.
He owns or is the head of a fracking company. So the environmentalists are not real crazy about him,
Well,
but he didn't knock out, he's certainly going to be supporting fracking, I would
Well,
guess.
I think that at this point with AI and its tremendous demand for electricity,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to disregard any source of energy. Everything you read suggests that the demand is just going to be so high. I mean, we know from our speaker last month that nuclear is coming back. It's just going to take an awful lot of
Everything.
energy to power
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if I sent this to people yet or not, but Biden did offer public land for data centers as long as they used renewables.
Oh,
All right.
So, the idea of trying to get permission or whatever, the permits to build wherever they're building, they wouldn't have to fight with that. But, it is a little bit more remote or whatever, but I don't know if that matters. But anyway, I thought it was a good move.
yes.
problem is they want to be able to they want to be able to get electricity. I mean, they need the electricity, so they're going to need to have it, the grid
Right
and everything
there.
available to them. And a lot of
Yeah.
public land is out in the woods someplace. So don't know how
Well,
helpful
not
that might be.
necessarily. There's probably public land around the country that may not be fully utilized or even in a forest.
May not be as remote.
It may not be so remote.
Yeah.
And one of the problems, certainly, both with the grid and with using nuclear, is public resistance to it and the time it takes to get some of these things permitted. So that it might well be that would speed up the process.
Yeah.
Well, one of the easiest renewable is water. And storing energy near its source. Anyway, what I wanted to say is last year we took a river cruise on the Columbia River between Washington and Oregon and up to Idaho. And we passed a couple of data centers, massive data centers on the shores of the river. And that's not
They're using hydro.
exactly, that's what I'm talking about. And so I think a lot of those areas in the country that are near hydro, near water, pressure of water, will be in demand for such data centers. I had no idea until we talked about it here, and then I went and actually saw the size of these centers. And the one place where they were right on the river was just for, I mean, one source of electricity. I mean, it was a massive center that didn't serve that big of a portion of the country. And it was remote, but not at all from the river. So I don't know if I'm
They
making
also need a
sense.
lot of water for those things. They use a lot of water.
Well, for
Oh,
For cooling, yeah.
well, not so much with
Yeah.
the dams. I don't think. I don't know.
The data centers use a lot of cool water because of
Right.
The data center, not
Water and electricity.
well, they're both available with.
So
big
when we're
rivers.
talking data centers, are we talking about AI? Are we talking about Google?
Another thing,
Are we
yeah,
talking about
the cloud. The cloud.
Facebook? The cloud.
All of them.
Cloud takes a lot of energy. Anybody, and they all have clouds.
Yeah. You can't do anything without getting on the cloud anymore.
So since we've mentioned water, the one thing that pops into my head is that the whole situation of climate change and its effect on water supply and drought and the various factors that go with that, production of food, I would say political problems that occur around the world for lack of water or lack of being able to compete. I'm not sure that I have a handle on exactly what direction I would go on that, but certainly water in the West and water in Colorado is very important in the whole drought situation and what it means for us in many ways might be an interesting topic.
Would somebody from High Country News be a good source for that? Do you know that?
They've written some
location?
articles on it. There is a woman who is in charge of the Colorado Water Commission who I've heard speak. I can't think of her name right offhand, but I have thought that she might. I approached her once to see if she would speak, and she didn't say no. At the time, I think she was ill and she couldn't commit to doing anything. What is her name? Gosh, I can't think of it offhand. But certainly she would be a good one to talk about what's happening with the Colorado River, particularly as it affects Colorado.
Yeah, and perhaps somebody from Denver Water Board or some entity like that
Yeah, they're the big
could, talk about finding snowpack and what that means for them, and then what it means ultimately for people and product.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the real big picture that you're talking about.
There is
Isn't
a
water
controversy.
commission of some kind in Colorado? Doesn't Colorado have a water commission?
Yes.
Yeah. I wish I could think of her name, but I can't.
Yeah,
right.
the person that knows about that is Jeanette Hillary.
Is she
Yes.
the one who represents? Are she the one who represents?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she would know.
Mhm.
I mean,
Is
Yeah,
this woman
Hillary
Maggie
is
the
on
one
the-
who
is on the,
represents
lake.
Colorado on the Colorado River? The
Yeah,
Colorado River Pact?
It's like the commission or something like that.
Well, there are three commissions, and they've been working across all the states, the 7 states in the Colorado River Basin, and looking at the problems and looking at the distribution. So there's probably somebody within those groups who would be a good speaker. So I think there are plenty of resources that we can pull on. It's just focusing on what we want to have
Well,
to talk about.
the
Would you
problem
be
right
interested
now,
in doing that, Tony?
I can if it's not immediately. I'm going to be gone for about 5 weeks. So.
Yeah, it's not immediate.
the problem they're running into is that the lower basin states have used water from the upper basin states over the years, and they need to cut back on their water.
Well, Originally, the
Colorado has not used its full allotment in the past and doesn't want to lose their allotment. And so there's a lot of discussion going back and forth on that that's not resolved.
and I'm not talking about the compacts.
Mhm.
Particularly, I'm talking about it more from a drought perspective based
Right.
on climate change.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they allocated the water originally on false information. So
Right.
what they're using is not appropriate for the time we're living in.
No,
But I don't think Nebraska and Kansas
what
are
you're-
gonna go for it.
Tony, what you're looking at is like more the overall look about what's going to happen with water
Right.
and how nations and countries and states are going to react to the water situation when they don't have any.
Right.
When
And
they
we
have
do
to
talk
talk
about
about
migration.
the river.
we do have a program coming up in April. And I think we're doing it with the CCETF on groundwater. And we have a speaker who's been involved. He's a water engineer who has worked with CSU. They've got some ongoing studies of groundwater in the state.
Yeah.
So he's very knowledgeable about the Denver Basin and I think groundwater in general. So
Yeah, and we're drawing down our groundwater and it's going to be
yes,
depleted.
we are.
Non-rechargeable basins. We've got
Right.
the Olalla. I mean, all of that stuff. People's housing is being built relying on something that's not going to last very much longer. And it's a travesty. It might miss. Just for you guys' information, I was sued by the Denver Water Board, so I have credentials.
Mm. Well, we do
What did
have
you do,
lined up-
Tony?
we do have them lined up to
I was
speak in.
testifying on behalf of the League of Women Voters about it, and they didn't like what I said.
Oh,
So they
Oh, dear.
I was in a conspiracy with 13 federal agencies.
Oh, jeez.
Well, Tony,
Wow.
I know you remember when Tess McNulty
Oh,
was active on water.
yeah.
She was incredible. She
Tess
takes
was my mentor. She was my
She was
mentor.
mine
And I
too.
have a dog. I have a dog now named Tess.
Yeah, I loved working with Tess. She was incredible.
It was,
Well-
if I may digress just slightly, Tess had red hair and she was a spitfire. She wasn't, and I think she had been in the,
Marine Corps. She'd been a Marine.
she had been a Marine, and she said, if you get chewed out by a major or whatever, you can do anything.
Yeah,
Our
I used
very own water buffalo.
She's a wonderful person.
yeah.
okay, so water in April, is that what we're saying?
Groundwater. Mhm.
Oh. You already have something set up?
I have it set up for Arapahoe and Douglas, and we can certainly extend it to CCETF. What are we gonna call it?
You said it right the first time.
The
I had to
task
figure out
force.
what you were saying.
I thought you had it down for May, Maggie, the other day. Is it May
No,
or
it's
April?
April.
Okay,
Then maybe we could do the more expanded drought situation, climate
Later.
change at a later date.
May,
Um,
Maybe
will you be back from your trip by then?
I should be able to pull it together by May.
Oh, we're doing good. I think we've got it right up to the summer. Anything else anybody wants to suggest?
When I look at climate action plans, coming from, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, coming from the Jeffco perspective on the climate action plan, we broke it down into these segments, including buildings. I don't know if you have any interest in resiliency or low carbon construction with buildings. We covered energy pretty well, and also transportation with EV adoption. We talk about that an awful lot. And
So you're
transportation,
you
and
think-
mass transport as well. Couple others, you covered water really well, but just kind of going across the whole map of climate change subjects, ecosystems, which with wildfires being front and center due to the droughts. There's other aspects of ecosystems as well. And then food and waste. So there's a myriad of other topics, but it depends on your interest in pursuing them.
It
How
might
about
be
buildings? I
nice,
think buildings would be great, Steve.
and it might be nice to have Boulder in there too, because
Yeah.
they have quite the CAP, the Climate Action Plan, and what they're doing in regard to buildings.
I think that would be very good.
RMI also is big
Right.
on housing and what to do about that.
I just came from a book club meeting. I belong to a science book club, and our topic today was food. And one thing for the future we might think about is trying to set up talk on food and how it's going to be impacted by climate change, because it's going to be.
That
Oh,
kind
for
of goes
sure.
along with the droughts and everything that,
Well, but even composting is part of that, that's a whole other.
Yes,
subject.
it is. And the other thing, when we talk about allocating the Colorado River water, we have to remember that a lot of our winter vegetables, most of our winter vegetables, are grown in California with Colorado River water.
You need to be able to do something about waste. There is a huge amount of waste that, plants and food that's being grown using water and fertilizer and all the rest of it, and how much of it gets thrown away before it
There is a
actually
bill
even-
in the legislature already, in our
Oh, good.
legislature.
Look,
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's about school waste, and they want to have tables where you can exchange food if you're not going to eat it. But I just think that's a terrible idea.
kids
And,
do it anyway.
Well, but
whole
yeah, but
barter
you don't want to have
going on.
responsibility for it, do you?
Denver is
Yeah.
phasing in composting in the city.
Composting would be the way to go. But it's going to take some real work because you got to figure out where it's going to go and how you're going to do it, It's not just,
Well, maybe that would be interesting to see what Denver is doing, because they've done one
yeah,
segment already, and
really.
they're rolling out by
In the
segments.
school system?
No,
City,
composting.
No, citywide, okay.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, I think it would
composting
be great.
bins.
yeah, collecting in bins. You get different size bins apparently, and they come and pick it up, and
I think they're purple.
There are some schools around the United States, and I think one in Colorado that got an award a few years ago at a meeting I was at, that have school gardens where the students
yeah.
are helping to grow the food and learning how to grow food
And compost.
and provide food for the school and save them money.
Almost
And
every school in
try
my
to have a
neighborhood.
nutritious
Yeah.
meal and know how to garden when they're older. I remember being particularly impressed by a school up in Maine that got an award at that meeting. I don't remember the name of the meeting, but the kids they raised a garden and they provided school food for the school, and they also had food to sell, and they made enough money that they were able to buy several pigs and have them butchered and provide them to poor families in the small community. It wasn't a big town, at the holidays. So, it seems to me that would be a great experience for
Well,
kids to have.
Kids and butchering pigs, though.
I'm sure
They've
that
raised.
I don't believe I think that probably was handled by by an actual butcher. But even so, I mean, the kids were able to provide this service to their community, which I thought was wonderful.
Yeah.
I'd like to mention a couple of examples of, I think I had the benefit of growing up with a mother who had grown up on a farm in the 30s. And we didn't waste food because she didn't waste food. They were basically self-sustaining and they grew everything. Her favorite food for her birthday was to go to the butcher and get hot dogs because they didn't buy any meat. And she got hot dogs on her birthday. I mean, that sounds crazy, but that's, everything else was, they had cattle, they had pigs, they had chickens, they had huge gardens, and they were self-sufficient. Now, we're not able to do that where we live, but we could be more conscientious, just learning to be less wasteful, I think. Anyway, I had one of my early experiences in the league. I was on a state committee, I think, and the lady that I became acquainted with, and she sort of led us on a mission in that she was the retired head of a Quaker school in Iowa, which was she got us, I was involved with prison stuff with her. Anyway, she got involved with the league when she was one of the people from her school that followed the legislature in Iowa. And that's how she became familiar with the league. She was retired. I picked her once for us to go to a meeting. She took us in the jails, the prisons of Colorado and all this stuff. And she lived very simply in a group home, shall we say, not an official group home, but a house where 5 people each had their own bedroom and they shared a kitchen. And she had basically nothing that she called her own, but she was very active in league. And she knew on the school grounds, they had a farm and they were pretty self-sufficient food-wise. And so that was a whole group, what now, 40 or 50 years ago. And what we've lost
That's
is
a commune.
I'm sorry, what?
Sounds like a commune.
Sort of, it was. I mean, it really was, but it was children.
Yeah.
People who were Quakers sent their people to the school. She said, I have students all over the country. They stop and see me. I have a big family. And she talked to me one day about, in her day, it was a choice. If you get married, that's what you do. You get married and you have kids and you have a family. If you don't want to be married, you can choose to have a career of sorts, any kind. Hers was in education. But it was a choice that a person made. You didn't just stumble into being a teacher or whoever, or Marie Curie, somebody like that, whatever. So we just have to make people aware. I'm blown away by the things some of the people in our family throw away, our extended family.
Okay, I'll do something on composting and food waste in June. I'll get somebody
Good,
or do something.
great.
It's really something I'm interested in.
Okay.
And since I can't get on the sustainability committee for the county, I guess I'll have to just do it myself. Steve.
Yeah, I've been trying. I'm not in the food and waste group, and I'll try to get that message across to the lead on that again.
Why can't you get on the committee in the county?
Because they have to pick me.
Oh,
have
you
to-
mean in the county?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to invite you, and anybody else want to be invited, I can keep trying. I'm doing transportation and energy myself.
Okay, any other suggestions? Because like I said, we have to leave.
Okay, here's what I have.
Okay,
February is petroleum with Arapahoe Douglas, Justin Noble. March is not confirmed. April is groundwater with Arapahoe Douglas. We appreciate you. May, Tony Larson is going to attack climate and drought. And that takes us then for, we have other ideas of buildings, looking at the cap for Boulder and Jeffco and using RMI, Rocky Mountain.
did you say buildings?
Yes,
That was for June, right?
I didn't assign a date until
Well,
somebody takes it on,
let's do something
whatever.
tentative. Tentative for
And
June.
food,
What was tentative for March?
we don't have anything. We have ideas about things. We had talked about carbon credits with Daggett, but we didn't have.
Okay, Anne was going to do that, right? Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
know it was
let's-
etched in stone, the time
I
period.
think you were going to do that, right, Anne?
I'll try to, I'm waiting for
kinda
contracts to
busy.
pop out of the woodwork.
Mhm.
The other possibility was Diana DeGette,
Right.
who sponsored a bill on that at one point. A couple of years ago.
Okay.
And then I will do July then, since Steve.
We
can
don't
do
usually
buildings.
meet in July.
Okay, then I'll do August.
So it's an August or September, October, November.
All right.
I have a suggestion for Tony. You might contact Rebecca, is it Theobald? Who went to that COP, was it COP 29 that she went
Yep.
to?
Yeah, she
There
wanted to
might-
do another program.
There may have been some water, situation that they've discussed.
You're on
Tony,
mute, Tony.
You're muted, Tony.
I went to COP 27. So there might be something that we could do, the two of us.
Okay.
About the different things that they took up at the COP and what it was like. So I have a PowerPoint presentation, and I know Rebecca made a presentation.
On
This was
water,
more
do you have
technical.
something on water?
Yeah, it
They-
wasn't-
I'm sure they must have talked about water at some point.
I don't know if she attended those, though. We'd have to check with her, but
There were a
No,
bunch
but she might have some information.
smaller groups, and they've been continuing. That I get messages from an island group talking about water problems that are coming to islands, many islands.
Hmm.
There is a whole variety of topics they take up under the umbrella of climate change and
Great.
what's going on. So, I mean, maybe you could get, maybe Rebecca and I could do something.
That'd be great.
Good.
It
She's
wasn't
not
an
with us anymore.
experience. I was in Egypt when I went, so.
oh,
She dropped out, so she's not here to defend herself. Her train went through a tunnel.
Or something.
So Rebecca and Tony together, that's good. Okay,
The other thing too is that there were students both times that I know of for sure from Colorado College that went. So it might even be interesting to get perspective from the students of how this is fitting into their thoughts about the world.
Yeah.
They're participating in it.
lots of possibilities. Okay,
we didn't put
Any-
AI or fire mitigation in there either, but
Uh,
maybe that's later in the year.
Yeah, I'll work on that. I agreed to already.
okay, well, if you come up with something really that you want to do sooner, we can probably move something else out of the way.
Mariana is muted.
Actually, if March isn't taken, I could probably come up with speakers on that at that time.
Okay.
Mary Ann, you're muted. Looks like you're talking.
Maybe she's not talking to us.
Okay.
There she is.
So
I was
March, instead of
quiet.
carbon credits, we would do mitigation.
Yeah,
Well,
Mariana was talking before.
No, I actually was not.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I think at the meeting on Tuesday, I agreed to do that, and I'll be glad to work on that.
so not carbon credits? Not carbon credits for March?
oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maggie had said fire mitigation, what, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yes. So we have to figure out where we're gonna put carbon credits.
We have all
We
fall.
have to get a
so-
speaker and a topic first, so let's let's see where it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might have to be in September or October.
I think
Okay.
we've got some good ideas. And
I think
I
so.
think we do too.
Mhm.
We may end up having our meetings at 7:30 on Wednesday night.
7.
Oh, 7. Oh,
7.
okay.
Sometimes if I do it at 6:30 because yeah, the length of the programs, but
Well,
but
I think
usually it's 7.
we might want to survey and see if another night or another week or whatever works. I don't know.
Maggie, how does your committee work? Who's on it?
Well, we meet every month and discuss. This year we really made an effort to plan programs fairly far in advance so that we could get people lined up and know what we were going to be doing. And it has been complicated because we have a consensus coming up on the state board for state freedom of religion. So we're working on that. We had a meeting last night on that, which was really an interesting meeting. Unfortunately, after it was done, it kept me awake until 3 a.m. just thinking about it. But
We talked about that before you came on today. We had one
did
too.
you? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
an interesting meeting. So we have that consensus to work on, and we have a consensus in March
For judicial.
for the federal judicial system. Yeah, that's coming up. So, a lot going on.
We should
this year.
all have those. Every
Everybody
league
should
have those.
Yeah.
have that. Yep.
We need to sign off too.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, everybody, thank you. And I'll send out a kind of a summary. How's that? To
Okay.
Welcome,
Everybody.
welcome again to Mariana.
Thank you.
Yes, Mariana.
Yes. Welcome.
Do I have your email address, Mariana?
I imagine. I can
Have I
send,
been
yeah,
sending you
I
stuff?
get your messages.
Okay, yeah. I think there's a Marianne and a Mariana
Could
in
be.
my list. And I think Marianne lives in Estes Park.
See you.
Okay.
Okay, see
Have
you
a good
next time.
evening.
So long.
Bye.
Bye.